Her passions are exploring jungles and natural habitats in pursuit of birds, insects, and butterflies and photographing them. She believes that this provides her with a digital detox from a routine as an IT professional. Poorva Bhagwat from Pune is our guest for the day. Welcome, Poorva, to Only Green.
Thanks, Abby, for a great introduction. And thank you for providing this platform to share my thoughts. Thank you.
Okay. Now, first of all, let's try and understand how you got initiated into this world of photography and specifically nature and bird photography.
Yeah. So I was one of the lucky, child from childhood that I was residing in an area wherein there were a lot of trees, a lot of plants were there. There was a good opportunity for sighting good amount of species of birds. At that point of time, I was not really aware of the identification part of it, but yeah, there was a lot of variety of birds, insects, and butterflies around me. So what happened that initially in the childhood when you're focused around your academics more, you don't follow your passion for nature or natural habitats and species more. But when I started working in IT, especially I work with Japan customers more as my uh, as my career or as my professional life. So what happens is, in the pursuit of perfection, always that you need to have while working with Japanese customers, is what makes you feel great professionally, but also it is tiring sometimes because you're in the pursuit of perfection always, and somewhere brilliance is lost, because the process is so routine that you want to disconnect from that part. So probably it's again a Japanese concept of forest bathing, which is popular in Japan culture these days. They take a vacation once in a year, disconnect from their digital being, and they get in touch with nature. So that concept is called as forest bathing. So that culture somehow, got inculcated, and that's what I embraced. And COVID provided us, a big amount of time to reflect on what we are heading to in life. So that COVID provided me opportunity to reflect on the areas that I am to in the life's journey and where I want to be. So I just took a chance and took a leap, and this journey towards being with nature started eventually.
Okay, that's great. I mean, it really sounds like a detoxification. I mean,
Yeah,
if you mentioned about, I mean, forest bathing, we done earlier two videos on
yeah,
forest bathing in the channel.
yeah,
Uh, so now you also had done some courses on ornithology and
yeah,
wildlife
yeah,
conservation. Can we
yeah.
have an insight into that? These two
Sure,
courses that
sure.
you've done.
Sure, sure. So again, this happened in the COVID duration, as I mentioned, since we were all working from home, and there was no earlier this much of time available because we used to travel a lot for commute part every day, and we had those extra hours in a day when we started working from home. So I thought, why not put it to good use? So I enrolled in the BNHS, Bombay Natural History Society's Introduction to Ornithology course back in 2019 from April to June. So that course was facilitated by Raju Kasambe, who is currently in charge of the training part of Bombay Natural History Society's, CEC division, Goregaon. So he was the facilitator. Along with him, there were some great facilitators, including one facility named as Parveen Ma'am. She is doing a great work of conservation for Indian scimitars in the Chambal region. So we had a honor or privilege to learn from her first-hand experiences. So basically, the course was a capsule model of ornithology. So basically, how to identify birds, what is their basic behavior, and a bit of bird ringing project introduction. So this was major components per se of the course. After finishing this course, I would say that my focus earlier in the photography, which was majorly capturing birds, was changed to capturing bird behavior more. I'm still at very nascent phase, I would say. But yeah, definitely for rather than photographically clicking a great picture, clicking a great picture of the particular phase of that bird or bird's behavior is my focus right now.
Okay.
So that change has certainly happened. I became more aware of the habitats that a bird or flora fauna lives and thrives in. So that is a great learning that I gathered from that course. And immediately after finishing that course, I got an email in my personal mail account saying that one particular NGO in Gujarat is looking for nominations for wildlife conservation. So I was curious that this mail is all of a sudden, and how come I am getting such email, because I have not done anything earlier in the wildlife conservation area. But to my surprise, looks like that they gathered my name from the batch nominations of BNHS, and they then contacted me. So the NGO by which this training program was conducted is the WCB, Wildlife Conservation Bureau. The NGO is from Gujarat. It is run by Nishit Dharaiya, Dr. Nishit Dharaiya. He's into sloth bear conservation in Gujarat region. So he conducted a workshop on wildlife conservation and basic techniques in the month of January 2020. So I happened to go to Una Gir, that is a region predominantly known for lions. Not like Sasan Gir, wherein they, are very much, I mean, human conflict is less over there because considering it as a national park and frequent safaris, lions over there are quite habituated to have humans around. But quite quite opposite to that, in Unagir, sighting a lion was a big thing. So they were around, but sighting them was a big thing. You had to put efforts for doing that. So one such memorable incidents, the other night, there were a lot of roar sounds, and the sounds were so much, loud, that we couldn't sleep on that entire night. Those roars were that big. So then some of us were quite enthusiastic to spot a lion, that too in open wild. And their villages are known as Moli, basically. The villages over there is something something Moli. So that's the naming convention of those villages. So in that particular Moli, we started roaming at around 3:30 midnight by listening to those roars. And we went there, but lion had sensed our presence, and it went opposite direction. But what we could see at that point of time was lion cubs and lion mothers, paws or fingerprints on the sand patch over there nearby stream. And it was exactly like positioned in a way that cubs, paw prints were next to mothers. So it was literally, walking in such a manner close to his mother that it was literally like this. So
Okay.
that is a greatest, moment in my life. I mean, still now, till now we have seen such moments in the BBC Earth, or David Attenborough's documentaries and everything. And now sensing it for a first hand was a big thing. In that wildlife conservation workshops, we learned various techniques to measure such prints by different means and measurements, and to identify which is which. So that was the major learning. Apart from that, their focus was also into butterflies and bats. So there was a expert in bats conservation that also had come. So he also gave us quite insightful, thoughts on the bat conservation. So yeah, so that's pretty much about the learnings that I had gathered. Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned about one experience where you could see the paw marks
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
lions. I mean,
Yeah.
in your journey for the maybe last 2, 3 years, you might have
Yeah.
had a really wonderful experience during your birding trips,
Yeah.
during
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
wildlife photography trips. Can
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
touch upon maybe one or two of those experiences?
Sure, sure, sure. So one of the experience which I had in the February this year, we were on the grassland safari with InSearch Outdoors, a reputed safari partner in Pune. So we were on the trip to grasslands nearby. This grassland, Saswat grassland is the name of the grassland. And that was, ironically, that was known as a wasteland earlier in Pune. But that's what happens, right? In the pursuit of diamonds, we, lose upon many stones, considering these are
True.
just stones. So that was what had happened earlier about that particular grassland. But thanks to Grassland Trust of India, they have helped in the conservation of this particular grassland, and they have done many efforts in wolf collaring and everything. So now that grassland is again thriving and having good days. So basically, we were on this grassland safari, and it was somewhere around 6:30 in the morning, because these safaris typically start at 3 a.m. in the morning. We depart from Pune at 3, and we reach there somewhere around the first light. Vision and more sightings are there. So this was a lovely morning in February. It was a winter morning. Also, I've shared one of the photographs from that trip. Sunrise and Wolf is the name of the picture, and this absolute lovely sight. I mean, some photographs are, even than a photograph, it's a memory. So that was the kind of a sighting that time, and that was a lovely capture in the form of snap that I've shared with you. But it was pitch dark. Sun was still rising, and we were trying to spot some good amount of harriers, raptors, because it was late winter. Spotting them at a lower level, or on the good perch was possible. So we were trying to figure out if any harriers were there. Some good amount of pallid harriers we could see, but other than that, it was late winter, so there was no much sightings in that area. But what happened when we were trying to do this, and we stepped out of our safari vehicle, and we were just trying to, scope the area around for any particular sightings. And just around 200 meters near to us, a lone wolf came. And this lone wolf, we initially, because it was still dark, right? We did not have a vision clear. So we thought it must be some stray dog or something. But when it came near just in front of us, we got to know it is a lone wolf. And usually, sighting a lone wolf is a big thing, because you get to see the herd of them, and, a group of them. But having a sighting of a wolf in I mean, a lone manner,
Oh,
and that too a full grown male, that was a big thing. And in just a moment's time, it started howling. I have that audio, and that audio was on loop for certain days after coming back from that safari. My family was frustrated with that sound of, lone wolf howling. That is the, number of times I've played that audio after coming back from that safari. And after like showing us the howling for good 20 to 30 minutes of time, it just disappeared. So, that was also one of the very great experiences I had in the wild. So, yeah, I just
okay.
had to share this experience with you.
I can see your, I mean, the passion,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
enthusiasm in your face when you talk about it. I mean, one other thing is, I mean, if you look at it these days, I mean, there are a lot of people coming into this field of bird
yeah,
photography
yeah,
and
yeah,
wildlife photography. If there is a message that you want to convey to these youngsters who come into the field, also to
yeah.
our viewers, your experience in the last maybe 2 to 3 years or so, what could that be?
Well, I feel that I'm at very nascent stage, so I'm not in a position or a privilege to give an guidance or something to anyone. But just as a fellow birder, I would like to share my opinion that bird photography is something that you really get passionate about clicking that bird, and sometimes the ethics of birding are lost in the procedure. So a good case of Amur falcon. Amur falcon every winter travels to Maharashtra, and in a place nearby Pune, Lonavala, it is reportedly sighted every year. So many birders go there, and they do not trust the boundaries of nature. And in the over enthusiasm of clicking the good pictures, crystal clear Shaz jung type pictures, they go very near to bird, but they lose the focus of having the good ethics around it. So you know gathering a good image is not something that you should get lost in, but you should rather focus on the you know having this kind of permanence and a viewpoint of respecting boundaries, because that's one of the important things we learn from nature, and we need to respect that. That's what I strongly feel. So getting a picture is something that is definitely a very fruitful part of your expedition, but having that experience is something which is far more better than clicking a picture. So focus around experience. If you're getting a picture, that's a good thing. If you're not getting a picture, you will still have a good memory which will last forever.
Very well. I think the point that you're trying to touch upon is
Yeah,
the importance of coexistence. I mean,
yeah,
everything around us has a place in this world, and we need to
yeah,
respect that
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Very good message, Purva. I mean, wishing you all the very best. Thank you for being with us for some
Thank you,
time.
Abby. Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you,
it's
Abby. It was
it's been
lovely
a
connecting with you.